Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today it is 11 a.m., almost 11 a.m. Paul's having his mid-morning snack over there, and I'm getting ready to, while I have 2 seconds, to make him some teething biscuits, or as this vlogger calls them, teething rusks. The recipe's in Celsius, so I'm assuming, obviously they're not in the States, but she said they're referred to as teething biscuits. I just think that's such a cool name. I've never heard of them called baby rusks before. Way cooler than baby biscuits if you ask me. But this comes from mykidslickthebowl.com. I was reading some of her other recipes and she has some good stuff there. But this one is super simple. It literally is just sweet potato, oat flour, coconut oil, or other light flavored oil. The only thing I'm doing is she takes an actual sweet potato, chops it up, boils it in a pot of water with a chamomile bag, and she talks about how chamomile is supposed to be calming and soothing, especially when they're teething. I'm gonna skip that step because if you followed me way back in Thanksgiving, you know that I got a couple cans of sweet potato, pureed sweet potato from Thrive as an attempt to cheat and make my sweet potato pie easier, and it did not work. The sweet potato pie just tasted weird. So I will not make sweet potato pie with canned sweet potato anymore. But I had a couple of these cans left, so I was really excited to see a teething biscuit using sweet potato. So I'm skipping her step of boiling, peeling, boiling a potato with the chamomile, and I'm just going right to this guy. And also her recipe says 200 grams of sweet potato. This can is about 425. So I think I'm essentially doubling the recipe. So we shall see how this goes. And also for the oat flour, I do this all the time. I just take oatmeal, whole oatmeal, put it in your blender and just blitz it till it looks like dust. I mean, sometimes there could be bigger chunks in it and that's okay. So that's the oat flour. I use it for all sorts of things. I thicken Paul's banana egg pancakes with the oat flour. I make his little baby ABC muffins, which I've made before. So I just make a whole bag of the Red Mill. Is that a brand? The Red Mill, I think that's Bob's Red Mill. Bob's Red Mill oatmeal. I'll just take that whole bag, throw it in the blender, blend it all up, and then I have oat flour to use and all this good stuff that I make for Paul. So I'm going to use a can of this, 2 cups of oat flour, and about a 1/4 cup of coconut oil. Mix it all into a dough, roll it out into a blob, use a pizza cutter to make them into like little rectangle-ish kind of shapes that he can pick up and hold. And then we're gonna bake them at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes until firm to touch and the edges are golden, cool, and then snap along the scored marks. And it says they can be stored for up to 3 days, or they can be frozen and even served frozen. So I might actually try some of the frozen ones. Paul is still struggling to get, let me think which one it is. So it's his right side. These fangs are coming in. It's so funny. His 2 front teeth are not in, but both of the fangs are coming in. His left fang, I'm sure it has like an appropriate dental name that I'm not going to attempt to butcher, but you know what I'm talking about, those fang teeth. So his left one is already poked through, but this right one, you can see it, it's right at the gums about to break through, and he like grabs his mouth. He doesn't like to be horizontal, poor little thing. So I'm hoping these help him. And it gets rid of my sweet potato. So, all right, let's get going. Stop talking. So I'm gonna start with my coconut oil. The recipe, again, I'm doubling it. It says 2 tablespoons, so I'm using a 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons. Then I'm gonna add this whole can of sweet potato. Then not in the recipe, but I'm gonna go ahead and add just a couple dashes of cinnamon. And now here's that oat flour I was telling you about. So again, just oatmeal I put in the blender and then just grind it till it's flour-like consistency. And we're gonna start out with 2 cups of this, and then I'll see if I need any more because this can was a little bit more than 200 grams. All right, let's mix this all up. So the recipe says to mix until a ball forms, and I can already tell this is too wet, so I'm gonna add a little bit more oat flour. Okay, so I like this. It's very dough-like, and I feel like I'll be able to There's a piece of coconut oil. I feel like I'll be able to roll this out. Next, I'm going to lay one of my sill pads down, and I'm going to put the dough right on top. I'm going to attempt to make this on one sheet pan, but let's see. Let's see. Okay, so there's all the dough. So I'm going to make my life easy and just cover this with some saran wrap. And now I'm just going to basically take up this whole sill pad, I think, because I have so much dough. And I have my little rolling pin here. I'm going to try to get it thin because I want them to get crisped up. Okay, so I don't know if that's going to be thin enough to work, but we're going to try. So I'm going to try to get this now in the sheet pan. I'm going to leave this saran wrap on for just a second. Paul's going after my rolling pin. Let's see. Okay, not too bad. And then I'm just going to use a pizza cutter to kind of cut this into biscuit shapes. So I'm thinking of 3 rows. I'm not the most even of cutters either. And I'm just going to make them like this big. So they're like an inch or so. Those middle ones are going to be pretty big. We'll see how this goes. And then these are going to bake for 20 to 25 minutes. So I brought down the clothes that were in Paul's room that I want to put in the basement. I thought there were 12 months. I'm like getting all my stuff mixed up. Just looking at the ones on top, they're actually 18 months and he's wearing 24. So I had it backwards. He's wearing 24 months now mostly because of his cloth diaper. And if he goes, in the rare occasion we go out, mostly doctors or something like that, if I run to get a grocery pickup and I put him in a disposable, he will fit in the 18 and the 24 is just a little bit big, but I was putting them away. I did grab my tub of 12-month clothes and I was like, man, that tub is packed. I don't even think I'm gonna fit any more in there. And I think it's because these are 18-month. But let me sort through. This is the bin that has all his clothes. I'm gonna sort through these really fast. And then if they're all 18-month, yay, I have an 18-month bin in the basement and there's not a lot of stuff in it and I can just put them away. And I think there's only a couple more pieces in his closet. One of them is a St. Patrick's Day one. That's Carter's from one of my girlfriends. So I'm keeping that out. Hopefully that fits him next month for St. Patrick's Day. So let me go through this and see what sizes these all are. Okay, so everything in that box is actually 18-month, with the exception of one zip-up hoodie was a 12-month. So I'm gonna bring that downstairs, put that in the 12-month box, and bring the 18-month box up. And I don't remember if I said this yesterday or not, but I keep this bin. It's one of those like cube shelf things. It's in his closet on the floor. It has 6 cubbies, and this is one of them. And my system is just, as he wears something and it doesn't fit, I just throw it in this bin, and then when it's full, I put it in tubs in the basement. My girlfriend is having a little boy in March. I can't believe she's done already. So I'm basically giving her baby clothes, which a lot of them are from her first son, and then she's giving me like 24-month because her son is almost, is he gonna be 3? He's gonna be 3 this year. Oh my God, that's crazy. But we're just cycling through clothes. So I don't need any clothes. I do buy a couple things here and there. It's so hard not to, but cool. So I try to take really good care of all the baby clothes that I've been amazingly gifted. So anyway, let me get the bins going so that I can put this off my checklist. So these came out so well. I was just playing with some and they're really, I mean, these are the edge ones. They're really hard. Where you scored it, they kind of naturally separated into little biscuits. Now these ones in the middle, these are pretty, they're still a little on the soft side. So I could put them back in the oven just for a few minutes, but I think I'm gonna end up freezing some of these. So the ones that are really soft, I might just freeze them so they get a little hard. But we're gonna taste test and see if Paul likes these. He's making a mess over here. Let's see if he likes this one. All right, little man, let's see if you like this. Wanna try a teething biscuit? You tell me if you like that. You gotta eat it. Is it good? All right, I think that's a win. I think he likes them. So I'm just gonna keep some out and then I'm gonna freeze the rest of them. So Paul's up from his nap. It is much later. It is starting to do something. I checked the weather and it looks like we're actually supposed to get more rain now than snow, which I'm not complaining about. But I didn't get the mail or the trash cans yet, and Mo hasn't gone out since this morning. It's like 3-ish now. Paul took a really long nap. He's eating a snack right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put together this chicken cordon bleu impossibly easy thing that I'm making up. All of these can sit in the fridge till you're ready to bake them, and then once Matt gets home, I'm gonna fix the salad, I'm pretty sure, and I'm gonna stick it in a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. But let me get everything assembled so that's ready to go. So the first thing I'm gonna do down here is I'm gonna put my chicken. So I have chicken tenders that I cooked this afternoon while we were having lunch, but you can use whatever kind of chicken you want. And this is gonna be, I'm guessing, about 2 cups of chicken. Next thing I'm gonna do is just slice up some deli ham, and this is Black Forest that I'm using. Okay, and I'm gonna say this is a cup of ham. I'm just gonna put that right over the top. You tell him, Paul. So the next thing I'm gonna use is some Swiss cheese. You could make your life easy and do the grated. I just couldn't find it at my little Target. So I think what I'm just gonna lay 3 slices on top like that. Oh yeah? Maybe just a little bit more. Looks kind of weird, I know. All right, so that's the Swiss cheese. And let me just move this out of the way for a second and bring out a bowl. So I'm going to crack in here 2 eggs. It's 1 and 2. I'm just gonna add some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to add just a little squeeze of Dijon mustard, probably about a teaspoon. Next, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of the Biscuits baking mix, followed by 1 cup of milk. my little whisk here and mix this all together. And now I'm just going to pour this all over the top of that chicken, ham, and Swiss cheese. And now, like I said, it's about 3:30 now, so I am going to actually cover this, pop this back in my fridge, and then when Matt gets home from work, this is going to go into a preheated oven, 400 degrees for about 30 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like then.